and welcome to the morning's talk show. Grab your coffee mug and sit down, because today's topic is going to blow your mind. Today, we'll be talking about the Little Rock Nine and the desegregation. Here's the topic question. How did individual choices affect the desegregation of Little Rock Central High School?
I think many of the decisions made by the leaders were very important because they impacted many of the decisions and life we have today. For example, I think that the decision that President Eisenhower made was very great because he was the main decider of the desegregation. He stopped it, otherwise it could have gone on forever. He enabled the people to have a free choice and vote for the black people. Because of his decision impacted by the people and media to desegregate, he made this life possible for us today. Otherwise, we would still be living in segregation, maybe. I think that his decision was the most important one.
Hi, my name is Dina and I'm going to talk to you about the citizens and students of the Little Rock Nine. So the first question that I'm going to discuss with you is, what were the choices made by the students, leaders, media, and citizens? Mainly, again, the citizens and students, but in general, the main choices that they had to make was whether they were with the interrogation or desegregation, and if they how they had to act. So some students were against this, and when the Little Rock Nine, those 9 students who participated in going to that white high school, when these students went out on the first day and started pushing them back. This was their choice. This is their rebellion. There was also the police, all the troops who, although they were sent in by the leaders, but the troops themselves had to decide whether they were going to hold off the Little Rock Nine, which they did, so that's their choice. It's a very important choice. Then there were the parents who allowed the students, who also manipulated some of the students to think badly against the Little Rock Nine and the desegregation. The Little Rock Nine themselves, who had to go to the school, who had to go through all this abuse each day for a whole year, and then continue on later, who received death threats via phone, bomb threats, and so on and so forth, but also the white students who were with the Little Rock Nine. So a good example of this is Link, who was a high school sports member who was one of the top people there. And when people were ganging up on one of the Little Rock Nine, he gave her his car, and in the future he made attempts to prevent her from being harassed and abused. That was a very good choice of him, although it was a decent choice, but it came with consequences. And there was another with sharing a textbook with another Little Rock Nine. Of course, sharing a textbook would have very, very harsh consequences, because once people see that you are with the Little Rock Nine, they kind of count you as part of them. They count you as traitors, which leads me on to Mr. Ogden. Mr. Ogden was a church member. He was a church person, and when he said that he was with the desegregation, people stopped attending his church, his readings, and that of course led to people hating him. People said that he was a traitor, and he had death threats as well, and this led to many different choices. But, however, he said that if he had to do this all over again, he would. So the choices made, events, decisions, and feelings, all this was muddled up, and I believe that fear was a common factor of how people reacted to this whole situation, because something new is always something scary. Now, on to Celia.
So, what were the choices made by the media? The media in each country said kind of their own perspective on what was happening at that time for the Little Rock Central High School. For example, here we have in Manchester, The Guardian says, there has been no trouble. This is true. Also the number of Southerners towns that do not break into the headlines. So they're saying that, it hasn't really been that big of a deal. However, this does impact the Little Rock Nine because they're not getting the attention they really want from the media. However, there's others that are saying, there is something happening, and we have to do something about it, or they're speaking up to the country, so the citizens, talk about it, and it becomes popular talk. How did the choices made change events, decisions, or feelings? So, media has a very important role on how people feel, or changing things, because they're the ones that actually is transmitting the information of what's happening to the rest of the world, or to other states, to other towns. So here we have a bunch of examples of of what different newspapers see, and we see that some newspapers say that the racism has ended. Others actually say the truth of that it is still there, and that the Little Rock Nine are having a really hard trouble going into school. However, if a newspaper isn't giving that much attention to what's happening, not a lot of people will react to it. So I think it was important that the media transmitted the reality of there was still racism. And that's it.
All the decisions made by all the groups in society impacted many of the choices we have today. Many of the feelings that were around during the time impacted many of the choices and made it difficult for a clear mind and to make reasonable decisions. But I still think that all of the decisions made were smart and intellectual choices and made a good impact on the social justice campaign that was going on during the time.
What choices made the most impact, and why, guys? What do you think? What do you experts think about, who made this decision?
I think that it was the president that made one of the most important decisions, because he decided that we should end segregation. He decided to send in the federal troops to trump the state troops to let the Little Rock Nine into the schools and to protect them while they were inside. And he stuck with his decision throughout all that came his way, throughout what Fobbs did to counteract his decision. He stuck with it and didn't change his decision.
Well, I think I disagree a little bit. I think it was the society that, wanted to change this. Maybe not everyone, but most of the people, it was the people that wanted to change it, and that's why it changed, thanks to the people. They were the ones that actually took the initiative. And, the troops weren't only there to, protect the Little Rock Nine, but also kind of to protect the kids of the Little Rock Nine. If you think about how many troops were there and that there were only 9 kids, it's pretty amazing. And I don't know, I guess it was the society admitting this. The president could say anything he wanted, but the segregation could have just kept going,
Yeah, but the president did make the decision to end segregation. If he hadn't made that decision, then we might still have had segregation in America today.
But people also wanted to end it. The black kids didn't want that, and they were the ones that laughed for it. Wait, the president wanted to passed the law.
I think no, it's not the fact that the president made a really good decision that he actually made it, but it's not just him who kept it up. It's the fact that the citizens, they fought for if they wanted it or not. So if the president really wanted it, then there he is. But if it wasn't for the citizens, we would still be segregated.
Yes, but many of the citizens didn't want it. All of the citizens that bullied the Little Rock Nine and harassed the Little Rock Nine and threatened to bomb their houses and stepped on their heels in school every day did not want segregation.
Yeah, but that's what the kids wanted to change, and the kids, the Little Rock Nine,
the Little Rock Nine wanted segregation.
Let me talk. No, they didn't want they wanted to end it, and that's why they were going to that school. They weren't just going to that school. They went, you also calm down, okay? Take a chill pill, have a chill pill.